Hello children and welcome to your Wednesday Maths. It's Wednesday the 10th of February 2021 and we are continuing to look at our unit on time. In today's lesson we're going to be focusing on half past, so telling the time to half past on the clock and really consolidating that understanding. And then what we're going to do straight after that is we are going to be applying what we've learned so far about time and applying that to sequencing events in our day, okay? So what time do we wake up? What time do we have our lunch? And that kind of thing, okay? So I hope you're looking forward to it and let's get started. Okay. What I would like you to do for the first part of your lesson is I would like you to practice your quick maths or your arithmetic skills. So, as we've been doing all week, I want you to make a certain number by using some of the numbers that you can see in the grid on the screen. So, I would like you to make the number 6, okay? So you can use addition or subtraction equations, or if you're feeling extra fancy, you might want to use some multiplication or division as well. I welcome them all. I'm sure they're all going to be very, very creative. Okay, so I'm going to start you off with one that I have just spotted. I've spotted 7 take away 1 is equal to 6. Okay, so that's the first one that you could have had. You could also have 1 add 5 or 5 add 1 equals 6. So I've given you 2 to go off there and I would like you to find as many as you can, okay? And of course you can just write this down on a bit of scrap paper and we will look forward to receiving them later on. So you may pause the video now and have a little go at your quick maths activity. Off you go, children. Okay children, everybody's favourite part of the lesson now. It's time for our subitizing. So all you have to do is keep your eyes on the screen and you need to count how many dots or how many shapes you can see in the image that I present to you. Okay, so the first one, I'd just like you to count the dots. Let's go. Okay children, have a look now. Oh, hopefully you managed to spot how many dots there were there. Let's move on to our next one. Count the dots again. Brilliant, well done everyone, and keep watching. Get ready to count the dots. Brilliant, well done. And our final one. Okay children, time to review. So in the first image that I showed you, we can see that one of the nuts has 4 and the other one has a 3 and a 2. So we know that that is equal to 5. So 4 and 5 together is equal to 9. So well done if you managed to spot that there were 9 dots there. In the next one, we can see a 3 and a 4. And obviously 3 add 4 is equal to 7. So well done if you spotted that there were 7. Here we've got on our log, we've got a 3 and a 2, which is equal to 5 again. Add one more on the leaf, which is 6. And finally, our last one, we've got a 3 and a 4 again, and we know that that is equal to 7. Well done if you managed to get some or all of those correct, and well done for practicing your subitizing today. Okay, children, I've just literally put this slide in from the last lesson, so we've got the same vocabulary as last lesson in today's lesson. Now, one thing that we did at school when we were practicing telling the time was I was making different arrangements on the clock and then I was asking the children at school to prove it. Okay, so for example, if I showed them 5 o'clock on my clock, if they got the answer right, I was saying, well, how do you know that? Prove it. And obviously they were having that discussion around, well, the minute hand is pointing to the 12, so I know it's o'clock. and the hour hand is pointing to that, and then they would give me that level of explanation. Okay, I'm hoping that at home you're doing that too. Okay, so that's one way that you can use our key vocabulary today. Okay children, time for our new learning. Now, as I explained at the very beginning of today's lesson, in today's lesson what we're going to be doing is we're really going to be consolidating that understanding of half past on the clock. Now, we know that when the minute hand is on the 12, we know that it is o'clock on the clock, isn't it? That's what we learned yesterday. That's what we consolidated yesterday. So forget about the hour hand for now. When the minute hand is pointing at the 12, we know it shows o'clock. Now, when the minute hand is pointing towards the 6, we know that it's halfway around our clock, don't we? Because if we were to split our clock in half, it would be all the way down here. So we know that when it's pointing at the 6, it is showing half past. So not when the hour hand is pointing at the 6, that doesn't matter. That will show that it's the hour of 6. When this minute hand, the blue one, is pointing at the 6, we know that it's half past the hour, okay? Right, so I'm going to show you some times on my clock, just like yesterday now. And I would like you to say what you see, okay? Let me show you this time. Remember, once you've said what it is, it would be really good if you can prove how you know that, okay? So, let's go. I hope you're ready. Okay, so if you need a little bit more time, please pause the video now. Okay, well, I know that this clock is showing half past something because my blue hand, or the minute hand, the longer one, is pointing towards the 6. So I know that this clock is showing half past, okay? Now I can also see that my hour hand, the smaller one, or the red one in this example, is pointing towards the 4. So I know that this clock is showing half past 4. Well done if you managed to get that correct. Let me give you another one. Are we ready? Ooh, I think I'll go for this one now. Are you ready? Don't get confused as to where the hour hand is pointing. Remember, you need to look for the minute hand first and then the hour hand. Are you ready? Go! Okay, remember, pause the video if you need a little bit more time, and let's explain. So I know that this clock is showing half past something because the minute hand, the blue one, the longer one, is pointing towards the 6. And I know when the minute hand is pointing towards the 6, I know that it's showing half past the hour, okay? And on this clock, I can see that the hour hand, the smaller one, or the red one, is pointing towards the 10. So I know that this clock is showing half past 10. Well done if you managed to get that correct. Now, please remember not to worry too much about where the hour hand is pointing, okay? So it's not 10 past 6. It is half past because we need to look at this minute hand first, and then we can see which hour it's pointing towards as well, okay? Right, let's do another one. This will be your final one before we move on, everybody. So I hope that you are ready, okay? Ooh, I think I'll make it double hard. Okay, are you ready? Ooh, let's see. Making it double hard for you. Go! Okay, if you need more time, please pause the video now. Okay, I can see that my minute hand is pointing towards the 6. So I know that that's showing half past the hour, okay? And I can see that my hour hand, the smaller one, the red one, is pointing towards the 12. So I read this time as half past 12. I've got one more for you. just before we go. I am really going to trick you now. I want you to be thinking about what we learned yesterday. Are you ready? Go! Or pause the video if you need a little bit more time. Now, children, this time, look where our sneaky minute hand is pointing. It's not pointing towards the 6. Our minute hand, the longer one, the blue one, is pointing towards the 12. Now, thinking about what we learned yesterday, what time does it show if the blue hand, the minute hand, is pointing towards the 12? Well done if you said it shows o'clock. Now, if we look at our hour hand, it's pointing towards the 6. So we read this time as 6 o'clock. Well done if you managed to spot that one. Super work, guys. Okay, children, time to develop your learning a little bit further. Now, in today's lesson, as I explained at the beginning, it's in 2 parts. So the first part of the lesson, we were focusing on 1/2 and o'clock and just making sure that we've really got an absolutely solid understanding of those concepts of time, okay? And then the second part of the lesson, we were going to be sequencing events. Now, on the worksheet, you've already got some times already down there, and they are going to be your order of things that you're going to sequence. I'll show you that in a little while. But I just thought that for our developed learning part of the lesson, we would continue to practice that idea of past and to on our clock, okay? Because if you remember, if I just show you my clock now, if you remember, if the minute hand, the blue one, is on this side of the clock that you can see it ticking round on now, if it's on this side of the clock, remember that shows past. And if it's on this side of the clock, then we know that that shows to, don't we? So we've got the past side of the clock and we've got the to side of the clock. And if you remember, we had our scale going around the clock as well. And remember, it goes in 5s, okay? Because each stopping point is 5 minutes, okay? So if we look at it, we've got 5 past, 10 past, quarter past, 20 past, 25 past, and 1/2 past. So that's all of our past side of the clock. Let's try that again. See if you can join in with me. 5 past, 10 past, quarter past, 20 past, 25 past, 1/2 past. Okay, so you might want to have a little go at doing that maybe with your clocks that you've got at home. Now, let's continue, because once we've done the past side of the clock, it's then time to look at the to side of the clock. And this is the one that causes us much difficulty, okay? This is the tricky part of telling the time, but I'm going to make it easier for you today, okay? Because we've got 25 to, 22, quarter to, 10 to, 5 to, okay? So it's just like doing our 5 times tables again, but instead of counting up in our 5s, we're counting down in our 5s. We're counting back, aren't we? Okay, so when we go on the past side of the clock, we're counting up in our 5s, in our multiples of 5. But when we're going to, we're going down or backwards in our multiples of 5. Let's give it another go. See if you can join in with me. 25 to, 22, quarter to, 10 to, 5 to, and then it goes onto our o'clock, doesn't it? Okay, so bear that in mind. You might want to pause the video, maybe have a little practice of that now with your clocks at home. You could even rewind the video, couldn't you, and have a little go at practicing along with me, okay? But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put another few on my clock, and I would like you to see if you can read the time, okay? But I'm going to be a bit sneaky because I might include some o'clocks and some half past in there as well, okay? So watch carefully. Let's have a look. Ooh, I'm going to put it there and there. Are you ready, children? Let's go. Okay, so if you need a bit more time, please pause the video. If you're happy to listen to me explain what it says, then carry on listening. Okay, so I can see that the minute hand is pointing towards the 2, and if I do my scale around the clock, I know that I've got 5 past, 10 past, okay? So I know that it is 10 past something. And if I look at my hour hand, that will tell me what it is 10 past, because my hour hand is pointing at the 5. So I know that it is 10 past 5. Well done if you managed to get that one correct. Let's do another one. Ooh, let's see. I'm going to keep it on that hour, I think. Are we ready? Go. Ooh, what does it read this time? Pause the video if you need more time. Okay, now I know that my blue hand or my minute hand is pointing towards the 4, and if I use my scale to count around the clock, I will find out what that is. Okay, so I've got 5 past, 10 past, quarter past, 20 past. So I know that it's 20 past something. Let's look where our hour hand is pointing to. Oh, it's pointing towards the 5. So I know that this clock is reading 20 past 5. Well done if you managed to get that one correct. Super work. Okay, another one. Oh, I'm going all easy peasy on you now. Go. Oh, well done if you've spotted that that is 5 o'clock. One more. Okay. Ooh, let's have a look. What does this read? Remember to look where your minute hand is first. Now, if you need a little bit more time, please pause the video. If not, I will go through the answer now, okay? Now, if we look at this side of the clock, we need to do our 2 counting, don't we? So we need to do our 2 scale, which is where we count down in our multiples of 5. So we've got 25 to 22, quarter to, 10 to. So we know it's 10 to because there are 10 minutes until o'clock and the next hour strikes. So let's see, it's 10 to, what's this number here? 10 to 7. Well done if you managed to get that one correct as well. Okay, children, I think we've done lots of practicing there with our past and to side of the clock. So let's have a look what our main activity is for today. Okay, so as I've explained throughout this lesson today, the first part of your lesson is to really perfect that idea of o'clock and half past. So your first activity is to have a look at each of the clocks here and to write down the times shown on them. And most of them include o'clock or half past, okay? So I hope that that one is nice and easy for you today. Okay, so activity number 2 for you now, okay? Now what you're going to be doing is you're going to be reading each of the times on the clocks that you can see. There's 4 different clocks there with a little image underneath each one. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking at the time shown on the clock, and then you're going to be writing it in words next to it, okay? So for example, in the first one, I can see that both the minute hand and the hour hand are pointing towards the 12. So I know that that clock is showing 12 o'clock. So I would write 12 o'clock here. And then the next part of the activity is to find out which one of these you do at 12 o'clock. So is it 12 o'clock midnight when you're eating your lunch? Is it 12 o'clock midday? Is it 12 o'clock in the afternoon? Or is it 12 o'clock in the morning? And I would select the one that best fits there. So for me, I think that 12 o'clock when you're eating your lunch is usually midday. So I would go ahead and write midday in there as well, okay? So you need to select one of those words that best describes the time and the picture for each one as well, okay? Once you've done that, you can sequence the events underneath. So for example, you need to look at which one you do first, and I can already spot without even reading the time that this one is probably going to be the first thing that you do, isn't it? Because it's when you wake up, okay? So I would then sequence the events underneath, okay? So which comes first, second, third, and fourth in your day, okay? And the final activity is absolutely optional. If you feel like you're an absolute master at time, then I want you to have a go at the chili challenge today. It is a problem solving one, so it is a little bit more tricky, and all you have to do is read what it says there. So I'll read it out to you now. It says, Sarah decides to do some skipping for 10 minutes. She starts at 20 to 4, so I'll show you that on my clock now. So 20 to 4, okay? So she starts skipping at 20 to 4, and it says that she's skipping for 10 minutes, okay? Now she says she'll stop at 3:45, okay? Now if she's skipping for 10 minutes, then the minute hand is going to move 5 minutes and 10 minutes. Is she correct? Explain why or why not, and write the correct time that it would be on that clock there, okay? Right, so hopefully some of you will challenge yourselves to have a little go at the chili challenge today. So children, that brings us to the end of your maths lesson for today. I hope that you really enjoyed it, and I hope that some of you are beginning to find time a little bit easier now, okay? Now, you've all worked incredibly hard. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I shall see you a little bit later on. Bye-bye for now, Year 2. Bye.